reading the Bible every day is not the way to go to heaven. That's just another rule. No, but the reason we read the Bible every day is to hear from God. God, that's what I want. I want to know you better. I want to hear from you. Because there are a lot of difficult issues in life and I can't figure them all out. Give me wisdom. So I'm going to position myself to open up my heart to read your word so that then you can speak to me more clearly.
Well, hey, good evening. I wanted to just share some thoughts from yesterday and some of the things that we discussed in a weekly Bible study that I do with some guys locally. We were continuing in the book of Acts, and we were looking at Acts chapter 11. And, as we came to the story where some of the early believers and followers of Jesus went to Antioch, um, I realized that I really didn't know that much about Antioch, so I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, and so I kind of went down that rabbit hole and started looking into, the first century city that was Antioch. And as I was doing it and I was preparing, I kind of thought like, wow, this is going to be a boring subject for 7 a.m. For a bunch of guys that got up early and then have to go to work, right? And sometimes when we are going to church or when we're opening up our Bibles, we're looking for inspiration. We're looking for that, that quick fix maybe, or when we're going through, scrolling through our feed on TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, YouTube. We're looking for that quick, short, just, jolt to, inspire us or motivate us for a few minutes. And then we go about our day. But I was really challenged to think more about studying the Bible and what that really means and what that really looks like. So, as I, kind of dug into it, as I often do, I wanted to see what Charles Spurgeon had to say about the subject. And sorry for all the nature in the background. Spring is upon us, so the birds are chirping, the dogs are barking. Um, but this is what Charles Spurgeon had to say. He said there are spiritual riches in the details, and he emphasized that details in the scripture are paramount. And he urged believers to meditate deeply on every word rather than just skimming the surface. He believed that while superficial reading offers some benefit, that the deepest spiritual, what he called nuggets of gold, and true understanding must precede proper devotion, and they're found in diligent, detailed study. So, some other key insights that he kind of shared was, he acknowledged the meticulousness of the scribes, but he criticized mere counting letters or words without actually trying to seek the spiritual meaning and intent behind them. He also believed that even minor seeming details are important, suggesting that every part of Scripture has the potential to guide, comfort, and bring salvation to the soul. Um, and he kind of pondered deep study versus superficiality, and he encouraged believers to visit many good books, but to live in the Bible, emphasizing that deep meditative reading is necessary to discern truth and grow spiritually. So if you maybe struggle when you sit down and look at the scriptures and you try to just read through as quickly as you can, or maybe you go through a section and as you're reading you're like, I don't really know what that means, but let me get to the gist of the story, and you try to just get through it really quickly. I would challenge you to just pause, slow down, and dig in, find out a little bit more about what you're reading. The Bible talks about to study to show yourself acceptable, right? And really what that's speaking about is to, if someone challenges you on your faith, well, why do you believe on X or Y, or why, what's this about, or what does it really mean? When you study, you're going to have a better understanding yourself. And then when people ask those questions, you'll be able to defend your faith, and hopefully help them to better understand it as well. So hope this helps. Again, just, if you're looking for a subject to kind of dig into, check out first century Antioch. It's a very interesting city with a rich history. It was actually the third largest city in first century Rome, which I thought was a very interesting city of somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 people. So very large, bustling city. And sometimes when we read these stories too, we have a tendency to think about, people out in the desert in tents, right? But these were very advanced and beautiful cities. Even said that one of the Roman emperors actually paved one of the streets with marble. So again, I think it also helps you to just kind of immerse yourself more into the story, and it brings it to life. So I hope this helps. I hope this encourages you to dig into the word, and study and not just read, so that you can find those spiritual riches in the details. So have a great rest of your week. We're almost there. Tomorrow's Friday, and then we'll be on to the weekend. I love you all, and God bless.